Hi, and welcome to Full Count Baseball. Today I want to talk about the stance, the importance of the stance, how it can affect our swing, and some easy setup guidelines. The stance sets the tone for a whole swing. We want to make sure we put our body in a strong, consistent athletic position every time so we can take the most successful swings every time. First thing we want to talk about is the proper grip. An easy way to do that is just lay the bat across the base of the fingers and then just close our fingers around the bat. It puts the bat in the strongest part of our hands and also allows for full range of motion with our top hand. We want our grip firm, but not too tight and not too loose. Too firm of a grip, too tight of a grip will now create tension in our hands and our forearms, and that'll slow down our bat speed. Too loose of a grip will let us create that tension as we swing, and we don't want to create that tension as we swing because now that's going to slow our bat speed down as well. So we want a nice, firm, even grip all the way through. We want our feet a little bit further than shoulder width apart, give us a nice starting point. If we're too tight in our stance, if we're too close, too narrow in our setup, we're going to have a tendency to lunge at the pitch and take too long of a stride. If we're too spread out, now we run the risk of not really getting a good weight shift to the pitch and now underutilizing our hips. So we want a nice middle of the road starting spot, a little bit further than shoulder width apart, with our toes pointing straight ahead. We want the toes pointing straight ahead because we want to put our hips now in a good position to make a full turn towards the pitch. With our back foot pointing back towards the catcher too far, now as we swing, we're going to have a tendency not to get that back hip all the way through. On the other side, if we've got our front foot pointing out towards the pitcher too much, we've already opened up our hips before we've even started to swing. In both cases, we're underutilizing our hips. So a good starting spot, both toes pointing straight ahead, right into the other batter's box. We want our weight now on the inside portion of our feet, so now we can rock back and go forward in our swing. That puts us in a great athletic stance. Posture, we want to make sure we've got our knees a little slightly bent and our waist slightly bent. We want to put our body in a position to handle every pitch in the strike zone. If we're too upright in our stance, we're going to see that pitch up here a lot better, and we're going to have more success with the high pitch and not as much at the low pitch. Because now we're going to have to drop our body to go get that low pitch and distort our perception of that pitch. Conversely, if we're too crouched in our stance, we're going to have a better view of that low pitch, and we'll have more success down here. And the high pitch, now we're going to have a tendency to come up and again lose our perception of that pitch and not have as much success with that one. So we want to get nice middle ground in our stance with a slight bend in our knees and a slight bend in our waist. Right in the middle. We want to make sure our head is upright and both eyes can see the pitcher. When we read upright. We don't read with our head tilted. So we're going to get a much better perception of the pitch with our head more upright and both eyes on the pitcher. An easy way to figure out if you've got both eyes on the pitcher is to just in your stance, cover that front eye and make sure you can see the pitcher with your back eye. We'll talk about hand positioning. We want to make sure our hands are back right off the back shoulder at shoulder height. We want our hands as close to the spot where we're going to start our hands as we can. And when we start our hands, we call that the launching position, right back here, right off the back shoulder. This also accomplishes a couple things. One, obviously it gets our hands close to that spot where we're going to start them. And second, it gets our front arm in a nice flex position and our back elbow in a nice neutral position where we're not way up here and we're not way down here. Sometimes if you have your hands too tight, now that back elbow is really tight against your body. If you got your hands too high, now you have a tendency to get that back elbow up really high. So right in the middle, nice and relaxed, good posture up top. Bat angle, we want to make sure our bat angle is at a 45-degree angle. And again, same thing with our posture. If our bat is too high, we're going to have more success on the low pitch. If our bat is too flat, we're going to have more success on the high pitch. Okay, here's our bat straight up and down. Nice and easy to drop the barrel and get to that pitch. Now it's going to be a little more difficult to get to that top pitch. The other way, if we're too flat, now we're already at a nice angle to get to that top pitch, and then a little more difficult to get to that low pitch. An easy way to figure out that bat positioning is to just lay the bat on the back shoulder at a 45-degree angle right there, and then just pick your hand straight up. That's going to put your bat in a nice position right there. And another thing you don't have to think about in your stance. From the side view, nice and easy, nice and relaxed, and then up. And that's going to put our bat in a great position as well. And that's our stance. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps.